Hello, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James, the channel that brings you your team every day. We are live this afternoon. CJ, I don't think it was a dream. I think, as much as we might consider it a dream given recent performances and the play we've played recently, I think, yeah, there's a few of us may think it's a bit of a bit of a dream. You never know. You never know, mate. But no, yeah, it was a 6-0. Genuinely was a victory for Rangers last night. Not one we've been used to, not the way we've been used to seeing them play. But you know what? A victory all the same. That is the key thing. Obviously, the AGM is still ongoing at this moment in time. I must say, I've been trying to keep up to date with the AGM on the old X. You know what? The more I listen to this board talk, and the more I listen to John Gilligan talk, the more I'm convinced that John Gilligan is in fact senile or drunk. One of the two. He must be, because the crap that he comes out with is just ridiculous. The board, for me, looking at the answers they give to the questions they were asked so far, it just smacks of incompetence. It genuinely smacks of incompetence, and genuinely is just as Airwolf says, it is a waste of time. It is a complete and utter waste of time. It really genuinely is. Yeah, the question. I mean, that was a great question, Declan McDonald. I'll try and quickly pull up that question for you. It was a very good question. I want to talk more about the game at the moment. We are going to talk about the AGM. We will do something on the AGM, no doubt. But yeah, I'll bring that question if I can quickly just get it up and get it sorted. I mean, just give me a minute, mate. I will find it in a minute for you. But yeah, I mean, for me, the board are galactically incompetent. They are absolutely massively incompetent, and you know, it's all about. It's just, you know, it's shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. It is massively shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic, and I find, to be honest with you, the attitude of certain other fan media, certain of the big groups, just pathetic. Towards the board and almost apologists for the board. Yeah, I mean, it was a good question. I wonder how. Yeah, I wonder how he snuck it in. Snuck it in. Yeah, absolutely. There's some of the other question is just been some of the other questions have just been absolute farces. They genuinely have been an absolute joke. Some of the other questions. I'm honestly of the belief that until as a group, as an organisation, as a group of fans, or as fan media, we come together and we organise this. We organise against this board. Nothing is going to change. Nothing is ever going to change. We need to make the board as uncomfortable as possible. We need to let the board know that we are not prepared as normal fans who can't attend AGMs to accept their shit anymore. The fact that they are so bad at their job and that they need to go. So I can picture Declan getting tackled by security after asking. I can get a picture of him getting chucked out, mate. Right, this was the question that Declan asked. It was a brilliant question. So this was a question from Declan McDonald. He said, who asked about revenues mentioned, how much if it comes from the fans. Executive level mistakes have set our club back decades. Hard work has been thrown away. You are blind to the damage you are doing. Can you not see that it's time you started selling the club? Yeah, I agree with all of that. I absolutely agree with 100% of all of that. Yeah, absolutely. That is a brilliant question. It really genuinely is a brilliant question. I've got to say the response to that was absolutely pathetic. The response from John Gilligan was absolutely pathetic. John Gilligan said this. He says, he acknowledged the drop between 55 season and now is something we are trying to manage. Well, you've been trying to manage that for the last 3 years and it isn't getting any better. Karim Varani acknowledged how lucky they are to have fans like us who invest and spend so much money. The sentiment to fix what's gone wrong since 55 is echoed in the board. I can reassure you that determination exists in the board and every staff member to work night and day to get us back where we are. I've got to say, as an answer to a question, an answer to a very good question, that is just a pathetic question. It is an absolutely pathetic question. The pathetic answer, sorry. The question is brilliant. Sorry, the question is brilliant. The answer from John Gilligan, from Kareem Varani, is just wholly pathetic. he acknowledges there's been a drop since the 55 season and they're trying to put it right. Well, it doesn't take 3 fucking years to put it right. It really doesn't take 3 years to get it right, does it? I mean, I don't understand how John Gilligan and Kareem Varane. I mean, I'll be honest with you. John Gilligan to me is an absolute joke. John Gilligan is your senile old granddad who can't even find where the TV remote is, or where he's left the TV Choice magazine, and or he's lost his cup of tea and he's lost his dentures. He really is just on another planet. I mean, John Gilligan is a joke and he needs to be got rid of as soon as possible. He needs to go back to his retirement home where he belongs. But look, I mean, I'll be honest with you. The answer that was given to that question was truly pathetic. It was truly pathetic from the board. Good afternoon, Andrew. How you doing? Grant Willis says here, AGM is a waste of time. They're all scared to ask the questions that need to be asked for fear of losing access to the club. I mean, that was a fantastic question to Declan McDonald. And Declan McDonald, if you watch, I doubt he watches the channel, but Declan, if you're watching this, you're a hero, mate. You're an absolute hero. You are, yeah, he probably snuck it through like that, didn't he? Yeah, absolutely. But they're not prepared to see there's any blame. I mean, one of the answers. I mean, one of the responses that was given. One of the responses that was given to one of the questions was. I mean, where was it again? Where was the question? Here we go. It was a comment from John Gilligan that basically, in his opinion, that the board. Here we go. The chairman continued, the executive team are doing a fantastic job under difficult circumstances since the departure of James Bisgrove. He honestly believes he honestly believes that he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, if they honestly believe that they are doing a fantastic job running our football club, they're living in cloud cuckoo land. They are living in absolute cloud cuckoo land. The club has never been more badly run. I suppose, pre-2012 maybe when we went bust. But, the club is heading that way again with the way it's being currently run. It's just absolutely dreadfully run. The club is being run into the ground by this board. It really is. And what is alarming to me is that they can't see it, that certain fan media groups can't see it, that we can't seem to get this right. We can't seem to sort this out. It is just an absolute, joke that this club, this club is moving the way it is. It's moving backwards at a rapid rate of knots. It really is moving backwards at a rapid rate, rate of knots. Should stop holding an AGM. Complete waste of time. You can't justify operating loss of 17.2 million. The executive team are a disgrace. And there we go. They made a 17.2 million loss. How are they doing a fantastic job? I mean, how? I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it is just absolute joke. It really is an absolute joke. Yeah, the Parks don't give a flying fuck. I mean, there was one person who asked a direct question, and they asked the question that basically could each of the board members and directly, directly addressed one of the questions to Graham Park and asked for Graham Park and John Gilligan to actually answer the question. Graham Park said nothing. He just sat. I don't think he even just sat there. I mean, knowing Graham Park, he was probably in the line for the buffet to get first dibs on the buffet to overfill his plate, the fat jab of the Hutt that he is. But, and the answer that was given was just pure bullshit. It was about living in America, taking time over there, getting to games every so often, about American investment in the Premier League. I mean, it was an absolute bullshit of an answer. A long-winded load of crap, to be honest with you, as most of the answers in this AGM have been. It is just genuinely poor. I mean, like I said, the AGM is fast becoming a joke. I mean, look. Here's another question. Mark Campbell with the last question. He says, "It's great to have investors. It's great we have investors have backed time over time, but they need to do that due to how badly we have been run. Player model makes sense, but it's not working. Did we only get 800 grand for the 5 players that left in the summer? Also, can you speak about youth development?" So the answer to that question was 800 grand was the number. The individual amounts are subject to contractual agreements, but 800 grand was the what we brought in, and that's the problem we need to address. We only brought in £800,000 for all the players we sold over the summer. I mean, that is just disgraceful. We need to reduce the wage bill. We are seeing continued challenges through decisions made 12 or 18 months ago. So again, blaming the past rather than dealing with the present future. Niels Coppen, we enter negotiations to get the best value for the club, but the reality is the market is tough and it's not always possible. We are reviewing the academy. It's not good enough currently. Not enough players competing for first team minutes from the youth, and structural changes we made in January. Well, that's a load of bullshit, because I'm calling bullshit on this. I mean, Niels Coppen is talking crap. You know, the academy is not good enough. How do we know? Because we have not tried those players. We have not given fair crack of the whip to the likes of Zach Lovelace, the likes of Bailey Rice, the likes of Finlay Curtis, the likes of Cole McKinnon. You know, where is he coming from with this answer? You know, he is answering not from a position of strength. He is answering from a position of utter lunacy and utter ridiculousness. PC, I have a good record of giving chances to... Oh my God. Right, listen to this, guys. This is a genuine answer at the AGM from Philippe Clement. You know, he says he has a good track record of... I have a good record of giving chances to the youth. Where? How? When? Seriously? Are you having a fucking laugh? When did he give good chances to the youth? I mean, is he having an absolute laugh? It's important that I do that here. When are you going to start then? There's good work being done in the academy, but bar of being a Rangers player and our academy player means we are currently below that bar. We want to reduce the gap between that bar. We are looking at things like satellite clubs to get youth in the leagues playing, but it's hard as we don't have the support of other clubs with that. I arranged the youth to train with the first team more often and games with them, but a satellite club would be a huge step. We need other clubs to believe that too. Honestly, you hear the man say that. You hear him, you hear him say that he gives youth a chance. When has he ever given youth a chance? When? Tell me. Please tell me when he's given, because he hasn't. He's lying. Someone needs to call him out for that. They really do. Great performance last night. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the 6-0, but it's too little too late. Not catching them, but if we play like that in the final, then the cup's ours. Interesting thought there. Forcing an emergency general meeting is only way you can get rid of the parks. I agree with that point. We should be getting rid of the parks. I'd have been asking why the money was spent on the stadium in Edmiston House when it put us 17 million in debt. Good question. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about your record prior to anything you did at Rangers. You aren't doing it at Rangers. Enough said. Just shut up. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Chick says he's talking about previous clubs. He's given youth a chance and he wants to do it here, but bar is very high to be a Rangers player. But, Chick, the point I'm making is, how do we know that Bailey Rice is not good enough for the first team? How do we know that Cole McKinnon isn't? How do we know that Finlay Curtis isn't? How do we know that Paul and Theo, Archie Stevens isn't? Archie Stevens is being watched by Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Okay? So if he's not good enough for our first team, why is he good enough for them, who are clubs that are far outperforming us at this moment in time? Mate, he's talking shit. He is absolutely talking shit as usual. Bored about a touch, I agree. Clement thinks under 30s is youth. Yeah, it's about right. Tell me what youth player he should have and why, when you complain constantly, someone has to call you out, but you just ban people because you're a Tim, Ross. Because you are a fucking Tim. You are banned. Because youth players, we've got Bailey Rice, we've got Finlay Curtis, we've got Zach Lovelace, we've got Cole McKinnon, we've got Paul Uncio, we've got Archie Stevens, we've got lots of young players who I honestly believe, having seen them play, having watched them play, they should be given an opportunity to play. They genuinely should be given an opportunity to play. And for Clement to sit there and say that, that he wants to give youth a chance is just utterly ridiculous. Ridiculous. Bar high at Monaco and Bruges too. Liverpool have higher bar to give youth a chance. I mean, you look at, like I said, you look at some of the teams in the Premier League, and you look at how they line up, and you look at the players that they use. You look at Phil Foden when he first broke into the Manchester City team as a teenager. You look at Curtis Jones, Conor Bradley, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool. You look at Nathan Nwaneri. You look at Bukayo Saka. You look at players like that at Arsenal who break into the first team. Kobe Mainoo at Manchester United. youth is given a chance at other big clubs. At our club, it isn't given any chance whatsoever, none at all. Haji's not afraid to take players on. He was outstanding last night, absolutely. Right, let's try and get back to talking a little bit about last night, because I'm sorry, but I'm just going to get even more wound up about this board, and the fact that they are just absolutely fucking useless. I mean, they're just a joke. They're just a joke. The manager's a joke. You know, it is. I mean, you know, John Gilligan is just an absolute dick. I mean, John Gilligan. I mean, here's a good question. We'll actually ask one more question from today. Why was the manager given a new contract while the jury was still out? Chairman, we wanted to show that we were committed to the manager and the plan that we wanted to achieve. So that's quite clear, guys, that, that's quite clear then that the manager is going absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And even if we do need to, that we do lose that cup final, we lose to Celtic in January, he's going absolutely nowhere, guys. He's going absolutely nowhere. It's nonsense, this notion that we have a high bar at Rangers. We play Dessers, for fuck's sake. Barcelona, is the pressure not high there? They play 16-year-olds. You're good enough. You're old enough. Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Anyone disagrees with you as a Celtic support, it's Fantasyland stuff. Half the support flat out don't agree with you. You are the problem, not the manager or the board. Okay, Rat Writer, I'm the problem. Fantastic. Rat Writer, yeah, I am solely the problem. I am solely the problem. So the reason why Rangers are going backwards, the reason why the club is moving backwards, the reason why the club are performing badly on the field is all my fault. Rat Writer, you are what I would call a massive prat. Half the support disagree with me. Well, I would disagree with that as well, mate. I think you're talking utter shit. Absolute shit. Airwolf, Dow, come back at me, Rat Writer, if you want to. Otherwise, fuck off. Dow should have placed. Yeah, absolutely, I agree with those points, 100%. The U should have come on last night. We went 4-0 up, but half of them don't even make the bench. They weren't even on the bench. They weren't even included last night. I know, right? Imagine spending money on a stadium capacity increase when the team is in turmoil. You can't even fill the current stadium. I've never seen Ibrox so empty than last night. Exactly. Rice, yeah, I agree. He never had any youth on the bench. Grant, but totally agree. Yeah, he didn't. I don't know why. Again, he doesn't have any bench. We can talk about that game earlier in the week or whatever, but if the first team needs you, you play for the first team. That's the way it works. If Clement goes to David McCullum or whoever and says, I need Finlay Curtis for last night for the game, or I need Bailey Rice, then the first team comes first. That's the way it works. That's the way that has to work. It really does need to work like that. I don't understand that. I'm never going to understand that. And like I said, for him to come out here and say, oh, youth gets a chance. No, it fucking doesn't. It never gets a chance, and it never will get a chance under Philippe Clement. And he's going to keep using the excuse that the board aren't good enough. The board aren't good enough. Here we go again. Here's Rat Writer on the one again. You collectively but nice straw manning. You ban anyone who disagrees with you. You think you have an echo chamber on the right track. You loved this marriage last time. We're not on the right track at all, Rat Writer. If that's what you think, fair enough. That's what you think. But I don't know. I disagree with you. And to say that I am totally to blame, mate, it just shows how fucking illiterate and stupid you really are. Really are. Really genuinely are. What else have we got? Rangers claim there was 44,000 stadium last night. Yeah, I think that's basically because what happens is even season tickets are included even if you don't turn up. The sales are there. Yeah, that was depressing, wasn't it? That was depressing. 100% depressing. Blue Bells are blue, 4,400 maybe. Jet Meadows said 17 million had been spent on getting the right players, and we might still be challenging for the league. That's a good point as well. I mean, going back to last night, I think we've got to take the positives out of last night. We've got to really take the positives out of last night. I think the positives there are, obviously the biggest one for me is Janis Haji. Janis Haji was the difference. He really was. He played again very, very well last night. He gets the 2 assists. That's 3 assists in 2 games. And I think it's, it's clearly... Here we go again. The fact you think you means you... that's the... The fact you think you means you specifically, not you collectively, for clearing space, but mate, that doesn't even make it. That's not even English. That's not even in English. Right. When you can write in English, come back at me. Um, you know, come back at me, mate. Come back at me. Come back at me when you can write in English. Seriously, mate. When you can write in English, please come back at me. What was I talking about? Um, who's stupid? You, rap writer, because you can't write in fucking English, mate. You can't even write in English. Anyway, yeah, Haji last night. I thought Haji was quality last night. I think Haji was really, really quality. I thought, again, he's always offering for the ball. He's always there for the ball when he receives the ball. He moves the ball so quickly. He really does. You know, he really does. He really does. I mean, that's one of the things I think, that stands out for me is how quickly he moves the ball. That's what we need. And I think, there's kind of a correlation there between the pickup in form of Rangers. The second half against Dundee United was a lot better. The game last night, again, a lot better. Because I think, at the end of the day, he moves the ball quicker. He gets the attack moving quicker. He's incisive. With his passing, he's quick with his passing. He is quality with what he does, and I think he is the playmaker that we are missing. He really is the playmaker that we have been missing. He. Like I said, I'm glad he's back. I think he looks quality. The one downside, obviously, that he's in the European squad, which obviously holds us back on that aspect. I need to double check, but I think he can be added to the European squad when we make the knockout stages, which I think we will do. So yeah, absolutely. I think that is a massive step forward from last night. A huge step forward from last night. It is the performance of Janis Haji. Look, I'm not saying that Haji is a world beater. He quite clearly isn't a world beater. He's quite clearly, obviously, he's not in the same, league as the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, and Martin Odegaard, players of that capability down south. But he is in this league good for this league, and he is quality, and he can do it in Europe as well to an extent. Whether he can do it against Liverpool and Man United is another matter, but obviously we won't see that because he's not allowed to play in the Europa League because he's not in the squad. But at the end of the day, it is quality. He is quality, and I'm glad he's back. David Phillips says, for the love of baby Jesus, should the penny has dropped with Big Phil? I mean, I'm hoping so, David. I mean, what I really liked last night, is, the likes, obviously, of Tierney, Hamza and Danilo, the way they link, their mobility, their quality, I thought was really, really good last night. Really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah, absolutely. There's some people did write off Hamza. There was even people in the live chat last night writing off Hamza before he scored. So, yeah, I think Hamza's quality. I'm delighted with what I've seen last night, really am. But it's one game at home against Killy away and Killy at home. I agree with you. And look, I mean, Bluebells, you're right. One swallow does not a summer make. And at the end of the day, we've got to follow this up with another performance on Sunday against Ross County, with another performance on Thursday against Tottenham, and then we've got to follow up with performance against Celtic. If we see this type of performance against Celtic in the final, then yes, we will be happy, and yes, we will see progress there. Of course we will. But one game does not a summer make. We saw that, didn't we? In the Nice game, fantastic performance. Then we play Dundee United and we look awful. So, it is that. I hope he's back again, dickhead. But Dessers ain't good enough because we have players who don't create chances, aren't good enough. Like Dio, do you protect over our 28-goal a season striker? Dessers isn't good enough, Rat Writer. He's not good enough because his movement is poor. His hold-up play is poor. His link play is poor. And the team don't play as well when he's in the lineup. Look at the difference between Rangers with Dessers up top and Rangers with Hamza and Danilo up top and Tierney up top. Look at the difference in movement. Look at the difference in the quality of play. Now, if you think Dessers is better than those two, you quite clearly have a major issue, and you are quite clearly as thick as pig shit. Penny, we should drop with you. No new manager will fix this without time. Look, at the end of the day, and there we go. He has lost it. The difference was Haji. Well, Rat Writer, who was the difference then, mate? Come on, you tell us. You fucking prick. Haji's consistency is his problem. He'll have a couple of good games, then disappear into mediocrity, happen throughout his career. Well, let's hope that he can continue that. If this signs things to come, by Clement time breaks. He's got to break the Celtic hoodoo. He really does have to break the Celtic hoodoo. Absolutely. Youth will get more of a chance when scorelines like last night become more regular. It makes it easier. Absolutely. But they've got to be on the bench, chick. That is the one thing. One thing. I mean, do we put a weaker team against Tottenham and go for it against Celtic in the cup final with Sterling taking Taz's position if fit? I think that may have to happen. Yeah, to be honest with you, that may have to happen. But we will see changes, won't we? Because there are certain players who can't play in Europe. Like Danilo can't play in Europe. Haji can't play in Europe. So we've got a situation, I think, where Haji and Danilo will obviously come into reckoning for the cup final, but not for that Tottenham game. So I think we will see changes. Yeah, he is, mate. He is just a prick, I think. Nothing to do with that. You're guessing because you don't have the info to make that claim. 3 assists in 2 games. The link, watching the game, the eye test, writer. You watch the game. You watch how Haji interacts and plays with the opposition. And yes, you can see that he is making a difference. Yes, you can see that he's improving the play. So you really are a turbo prat. We didn't score the games. He was banned without Dessers. Problem was always Dio and Tom Lawrence. Disagree. Losing Campbell, not replacing Tillman. I agree with that point. That's actually a good point. Finally, the idiot makes a good point. Losing Cantwell and not replacing Tillman. I think that's massive. We didn't replace Tillman. We didn't replace Cantwell. Cantwell was forced out of the club. I agree with that. At the end of the day, yes, that is a big thing. A big thing. Where's the transcript for the AGM PMQs? It won't have come out yet. It will come out. Yeah, I agree with that point. Yeah, absolutely. We need to stop taking corners. His delivery is shit. His corner. Is it 140 corners we've had now, and we haven't scored from a single one of them? Mad ass. Who's unlocked the defence? Said it was Haji. Nothing to do with changing the striker. Whatever. Last night we started with pace, which has been missing this season. We did, and that's another thing. That is a big, massive thing. It's a massive thing. It really is a massive, massive thing. I think it's one thing that the team has lacked all season. I think Kiefte has been the one player all season who's got pace. Really does have pace there. He's one player. And I think adding in the likes of Danilo, adding in the likes of Tierney, adding in the likes of Hamza does bring a lot of pace in there. Absolutely. Bluebells, we lost Cantwell because of PC. Rat Writer, you're burning yourself here. Amelia says, Rat Writer, do one, you're not wanted here. Dessers is our best striker. You have no evidence to suggest otherwise. You're guessing and hoping might be. Dessers is not our best striker. Seriously, mate, he's not our best striker. He can't hold a ball up. He can't trap a ball. He can't link play. He's got no pace. He's offside all the time. He falls on his arse all the time. I mean, to say he's our best striker just shows that you know absolutely nothing about football. I'm not being funny. There's a stuffed teddy over there that knows more about football than you, mate. You really are a fucking illiterate knobend. Seriously, mate. Go away. Done with him now. Fucking done with him. Airwolf says, you look at Celtic there for our own mobile. Dessers doesn't provide that. Exactly. Rat Writer is now banned because the guy is just an absolute tube. I think he's probably a Celtic fan. He probably is just someone on the wind-up again. So he's gone now. I'm fed up of him. Absolutely fed up of him. So there we go. Yeah, Dessers did a good job when he came on last night. But I think the situation is with Dessers is that he never, ever, ever should be your starting striker. He shouldn't be. He should be your 3rd or 4th choice striker. But paying him 27 grand a week is a lot of money to pay someone who's not your first choice striker. That's just bad business for Michael Beale. But, he was definitely Feyenoord, he scored most of his goals coming off the bench. That's where he's better. He's not a starter. He can't link the play. He can't trap a ball. He's too slow. And he comes on last night against a team that is tired, against a team that is weaker, a team that is dispirited, and he scores 2 goals. Fantastic. Absolutely, it's fantastic. Airwolf says more two striker than goals. Kenny Miller, not a great goal scorer, but offers more than Dessers. Alan Neal says, is Michael Beale masquerading as Rat Writer? Rat Writer malfunctioning AI bot? Possibly, mate. Problem is there are way too many fans just like Rat Writer accepting absolute dross. That's the part of the issue. We need to stop accepting average and accept only the best for this football club. Definitely. Anyway, Odd One Boy says, Dessers is our top striker on numbers over the time spent at the club with any other strikers. But on numbers, yes, okay, I give you that on numbers. Um, but he's not the best striker at the club. He isn't on terms of what else he brings to the team. And what's really strange is some fans don't seem to realise is that we look a better team with Danilo in up front or Hamza up front. When we've got Dessers up front, we look less dynamic, we look slow, we can't get out. Um, you know, so there we go. Absolutely. Absolutely. It really is a situation there that, Dessers, yes, on numbers alone is probably our best player. But on numbers alone, Tavernier is our best right back. Well, he's not our best right back at the moment, is he? That's Sterling or Cass, who's obviously gone now. But in terms of Dessers is okay as a first change striker. And yeah, Danilo has been injured a lot of the time, and Hamza's only now just getting in. But I think, if you look at the performances, you look at the second half against Dundee United, massively improved performance. You look at the game last night, massively improved performance. What is one of the common denominators there? Danilo starts, plays. We look better. Hamza starts and plays. We look better. I think, there's some direct correlation there between the fact that the team performs better when Danilo and Hamza are in the team than when Dessers is in the team. There we go. Oddman Boar says, is it's on the strikers to keep fit? How long before? Yeah, we don't know. That's it. How long before anyone gets injured? You don't know. At times, he's been the only striker, though. Organically, he should have the highest numbers. You need to watch the clown to know he's a poor football player all round. Yeah, that's it. He has started all the games. And how many, yes, he scored 20 goals last season, but how many goals should he have scored last season? 2 misses against Ross County, 4 misses against Hearts in the last game of the season. The list goes on and on. There's an actual video on my TikTok of all the chances that he missed last season. And there's about 10 or 15 chances that he missed. The guy could have scored 40 goals last season, and some of the misses are utterly unforgivable for me. But going back to the positives of last night, we're getting dragged into this Dessers debate, and it seems that a lot of people just want to troll on Dessers, and it's wrong, and it's just pure, I don't know, pure ridiculousness. But another positive from last night, to draw from last night, was Raskin. I thought. That Raskin played well last night. He definitely did. I thought he was quality. Alan Neal says, last night proved with our movement and ability to drag the other team about that Dessers should be a sub and come on when the game is done. Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. 100%. Who plays up front? The club sell him and the other two strikers get injured. Well, Hamza's injury record is pretty decent since he's come into the club, so he doesn't get injured very often. Yeah, absolutely. 22. 100% XG chances he's missed since he came. There we go. But you could use the argument about anything on one board. So let's say we sell Tavernier in January. So who plays right back now? Because Cass isn't there and Sterling gets injured, right? Okay. Or we can use the same argument about wingers. Let's say wingers. Cherney is injured. Who plays right wing? It's at the end of the day, we can't use that argument. We can't hold on to a player who isn't good enough just because we're worried that if someone else gets injured. Anyway, there should be a situation where we strengthen the team in January. We should be looking to buy a striker in January or bring a striker in on loan in January, looking at developing that area because we know that we need to strengthen that area for me. We don't have any fit wingers. We've got Cherney. Cherney's fit. What else have we got here? Would not be surprised if an Italian club coming for Suter in January puts his body on that. Suter's a good player. Suter had another good game last night. Absolutely. Please, Atlanta United come back with 4, would take 3 for Dessers. Yeah, I think that'd be a good move for us. And I think we need to be harder with these players. We need to say to them, look, you're going. We don't want you anymore. Go. Get out of the club. And then use that money to reinvest in a striker. That's what we've got to do. Raskin, I want to get back to Raskin from last night. Raskin was top last night. Really, really good again last night. Look at that. The band. Ignore the Hamza picture for a minute, but there we go. Raskin last night I thought was excellent. If you think about the way that he played, the way he actually played last night, he got stuck in, he won the ball back, his recoveries were good, his use of the ball was good, he never stopped battling, he was all over the pitch. There was times he was at right back, there was times he was on the right wing, on the left wing, in the middle. He was absolutely brilliant last night, and I think we're finally starting to see the player that we thought we were getting in Nicholas Raskin. Thoughts on Soapy? New contract or sell? New contract for me. Won't get enough money for it to be worth selling him. Bluebells, I have to agree with you. People have criticised John Suter a lot, and I don't understand why people criticise John Suter. I like John Suter. I think he's a very good footballer. I think he's a very good player. yes, he makes a mistake. But as I've said, and I will go on saying this, if he didn't make a mistake, would he be playing for Rangers? Now, that you may say is disrespectful to Rangers, but we live in a world where it's not the 1980s anymore. It isn't. We're not in a position where we can go and the 80s, early 90s, where we can go and sign who we want. I mean, the days of us having nearly half the England team in our squad are over. I mean, if you think back to that Graham Souness team, the 86, 87, 87, 88 teams, we had Chris Woods, England international goalkeeper, Gary Stevens, England international right back, Trevor Steven, England international right winger, Mark Hateley came to the club eventually, England international. These are all international footballers. I mean, if you compare like with like now, let's say, for example, we look at the right back position, okay? So Gary Stevens was an England international while he was at Rangers, okay? So that would be like us now going and buying Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold, okay, he's out of contract at the end of the season, but will be paid £350,000, £400,000 a week when he goes to Real Madrid. Okay, if Liverpool had sold Trent Alexander-Arnold at the height of his contract, you would have got 120, 150 million for him. So, there's no way we would ever be in that position ever again to be able to pay that sort of money for players. Terry Butcher, captain of England. I mean, that would be like us going and buying Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace, £80 million. Signing someone of that calibre. It's never going to happen again. So, we're going to have players who unfortunately do make mistakes. And John Souttar, for me, is probably one of the best defenders in Scotland. He's one of the best Scottish defenders, Scottish national team defenders. I would definitely give him a new contract. I'd definitely give him a new deal. David Phillips says, first time in a long while we have 3 strikers available. Dessers is third choice, Evan Ladd for 27k a week. We need to sell Dessers now as his value is. Yeah, absolutely agree with that one. We've got to 100% agree with that one. 27 grand a week is too much to pay a backup striker. You cannot be paying a backup striker 27 grand a week. Ridiculous. Cherney is all over again. We will be in the same place in the summer again. That's actually a fantastic point from Odd One Ball there. Absolutely fantastic point. At the end of the day, Seamer obviously was a player I think we all wanted to keep. Well, the vast majority of us wanted to keep. And the better he performed, the higher his value got. And Brighton saw that. And I think the worry we've got now when it comes to Cherney, to Václav Cherney, I think I wrote this as an answer to a question on the comments on this morning's video, is with Cherney's performances getting better and better and better, and him looking like a real linchpin to our attack and being a kind of player that a lot of play goes through, his value, which was currently sitting around €6 million, which is about £5 million, is going to continue to rise and rise and rise. And the issue there is then you're going to have clubs from Germany, clubs from Holland, clubs from England looking at Cherney and going, yeah, I fancy that. I fancy a bit of that. I think he could do a job for us. Now, Wolfsburg are going to sit back and go, well, there's no, in the contract with Rangers, it's a loan. There's no option to buy there. We haven't got an option or obligation to buy in his deal. Yes, we have paid a £1.5 million loan fee, and they could probably just pay that back to us or whatever, which they don't need to. But, if, for example, an English club comes in and offers 10 million for him, or offers 12 million for him, or a German club comes and offers 8 million, 9 million for him, we can't compete with that at the moment. And I think you're right there, Adron Ball. It is a situation that where we could very well be sitting here in the summer saying we all want to keep Cherney, but he's going to go off to Frankfurt, or he's going to go off to Dortmund, or he's going to go off to Brighton, or he's going to go off to Brentford, or he's going to go off to Nottingham Forest or something like that, because they can offer more money than we can. And that's a great point. That's a great point. Grant says offer John Souttar a new contract. Apparently we want Cass permanently. I think a lot will depend on how he recovers from his injury there on that one, Airwolf. Trying Scotsman, we got lucky because English getting banned. I mean, that's a good point. Trying Scotsman, we did at that point. We did. Might happen again, Owen, you never know. Maybe one day we will join the Premier League. I mean, I'd love that to happen, mate. I really, really would love that to happen. I think that would be that would be quality. I'm fed up with loans. We should only take loan players if we can afford to buy them, if they work out. Grant, that's a great point. I don't know why we should develop other people's players and put them in the shop window for them to get more money for, and we get nothing for it. I mean, Tillman is kind of the exception. We got the £1 million compensation package and we got 10% of his transfer fee. So I think we earned about 2.4 million from Tillman, which is decent money, for a player we didn't even really own. So I've got no issues with that one. But, yes, I agree. If we're taking Cherney and say in 6 months' time Cherney's being sold by Wolfsburg to Nottingham Forest for 10 million or to Borussia Dortmund for 12 million, then yeah, it does hurt that we've then developed that player, got him better, and earned them a lot of money. I agree. It makes me angry that we won't be making money on our best player again. Agreed. That's what I've just been saying. Yeah, I think it is bad. That we need to look, and unfortunately, I think the situation came in the summer. Um, you know that we couldn't afford these players. I mean, Seema, it seems obviously we couldn't afford him. To bring him back at 7 million, I think they wanted for him again. We couldn't afford that. So, look, at the end of the day, yeah, it is awful. Chile is very well over 7 million now. It's gone. I think, yeah, if he's 7 million, we're realistically not going to be able to afford him on what we've got. Nano is absolutely now on his third major injury at such a young age. Absolutely no chance we should go for a permanent move like the lad, but no more Crocs, please. That's a good point. That's a good point. Not much point in loans if they aren't good enough and we want to buy them. If we're good enough, we can't buy them. Pretty, yeah, down to it. Unless, of course, you, at the start of the contract, and it is a massive risk, you go for that obligation to buy contract. Because if you go for the obligation to buy contract, then they have to sell them to you. There's no choice in the matter. They've got to sell you that player. So, that is one, isn't it? That is one possibility, that we could work on there. I know Shanklin has been shocking this season, but he could be a bit of smart business potentially. Contract is nearly up, and he could be crucial in the league when we need a goal on and low wages, says Harrison Anderson. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not opposed to us going and getting Lawrence Shankland, but I mean, yeah. I mean, given what Coppen was saying today at the AGM about the resale value of players and the trading model and bringing down the average age and bringing down the salaries, I genuinely, honestly, Harris, don't think there is any interest in Lawrence Shankland. I think there is zero interest in this club in Lawrence Shankland at this moment in time. I don't believe the club are in the slightest bit interested in him. I think if they had been interested in him, we would have gone for him last January. Given where we were in the league, given where we are, I genuinely don't think we would have actually gone for him. I think we would have gone for him if we'd been interested in him. So at the end of the day, I genuinely think that is a bit of a no-go at that one. It is what it is. I don't think we're going to get Shankland. I definitely want, we'll obviously think about that. Jay Yen says, amazed that Clement finally took the handbrake off, tweaked the formation, allowed freedom of movement. Yeah, it was great last night. Absolutely great. Ragnar Arke would be a good... Yeah, well, I still need to look at him. I will get to him, Elf, I promise. Tillman, wasn't he obligation to buy? No, option, mate. Option to buy. It's a difference. An option to buy is that you have an option to buy, but you are not. But the parent club can always change the terms of that agreement. And if you are then gazumped or outbid by someone, then you're not going to get him. So it was only an option to buy, and I don't think that option to buy is legally binding. And I think that was also part of that compensation package that was paid to Rangers. So it's only when it's an obligation to buy that you can have that player. And like I said, Tillman was an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. So that's where we're up to with that one. As far as I'm aware, I mean, thank you, Franz. That's what I'm aware of. That's what I think. I mean, I'd have to just double check it all, but I think that's where we're up to with the Tillman situation. But like I said, I think last night was encouraging, and it was very encouraging. And I don't want to sit here and appear like a killjoy or like someone who's trying to be overly negative about the situation. But it was one game. It was one game. We need to keep that up now. We need to then, on Ross County on Sunday, I need to see that again. I want to see that again. I want to see that again. We need to follow that performance up. We need to see that performance again for it to work. Don't like obligations. If the player stinks the place out, you're stuck with them. Well, that's a good point. And the whole Cortez situation where the guy is clearly very injury prone, and we're stuck with him now, £4.5 million. So I agree on that one. Sorry, I don't have Twitter. I read it right. We sold 5 players and got him. That's correct. That is 100% correct, mate. Owen Hefte is going to be an absolute baller signing for the season. He just had about... Oh, David, I love Hefte. He's a top player, mate. He's quality going forward. He was brilliant last night. He's going to be someone who's worth a fortune in the future. He really is. And I think he's one of the players that trading model-wise, we are going to get a lot of money for and make a lot of money for as well. But look, overall, I think, we've got to take it in isolation. It was a good performance last night. It's something to build on. Now, hopefully Clement will build on that. Hopefully he will develop that further and we will see a better Rangers going forward now. He's got to realise what his best formation is. He's got to realise what his best shape is. He's got to realise, that this is the best way forward now. And I'm hoping that he's seen the light a little bit. I'm hoping. I was just to say it's only one game, but it was a midweek game. Should the club just work Monday to Friday? Yeah, every day should be a midweek. Yeah, we shouldn't. Yeah, we should change the days on one board. We definitely to only play midweek. Hefte, Raskin, Haji, Baron, Hamza, foundations of a player trading are there. Yeah, I agree. You've got good players there. I mean, you've probably got what? Hefte, 10 million in a few years' time. Raskin, the same, 20 million. 7 million for Haji, 27 million. 15 for Baron in a few years' time. So that's what, 27, 37, 43. Hamza, say another 10. So that's 53. So we get 60. You could be looking at 55 to 65 million pounds worth of talent there, which is a lot of money to bring in. A lot of money to bring in to the club. It really genuinely is. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. I don't think the tribunal fee's been set yet. I don't know why the hell it's taken so long. It's ridiculous how long that tribunal fee has taken to set. Right, guys, that is it for this afternoon. I've got a few things I need to take care of. I've got my daughter ill off school at the moment, so I need to go and check on her. I'll be back this evening with a follow-up. We'll talk more about the AGM, what went on at the AGM. So please come and join us for that. I'm going to go and set that live up in a moment, so look out for that. Thank you to everyone for joining us. As always, guys, on the way out, if you could smash the like, sub to the channel, like, share, comment, and remember always, we are the people.